Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing Real Horror Stories Ultimate Edition. And despite the name, none of the horror in this game is deemed real. Is actually based on true stories. The only horror I would say is the fact that I paid for the game, despite it only being 40 cents on Steam when it's 80% off. And frankly, I feel sorry for anyone who paid full price for this game for it, because generally this game is not completely broken, like some games such as Big Rig and such, or whatever that racing game was, that was deemed like the worst game in history. But like this game is generally just deemed uninteresting. It relies on jump scares and just trying to create uh, an eerie atmosphere, which is kind of the besides the point when you can see, as you saw earlier, like you can have those yellow boxes pop up by simply pressing the tab button. Just like so. With that said, the controls are pretty well straightforward for one, but like in my opinion, this is generally broken because they're pretty incomplete, and there's no real explanation on what you're supposed to do and what is possible. So it actually took me quite a while before I left this first section of the or first level. Another issue I had with this game is that with the controls and no real direction, you're just left randomly clicking through the each level, which is generally the tactic that you can pretty much use for the first 2/3 of the game, maybe a bit more, until which you realize that this is a puzzle game where you have to click things in a certain order, which I found out the hard way after I was playing through one of the later levels. Another thing is that there's only 16 of them. So once you get past the 16th, like that's it. That's all. Like in hindsight, this entire game took me about an hour and a half, like less than an hour actually, like an hour and a half. So a bit shorter than the average Life is Strange episode, quote unquote, game. But yeah, which I'm actually downloading in the background now as I review this. We're just going to play that game. But generally, it's a bad sign, in my opinion, that if the creator of this game legit created walkthroughs on how to complete each and every level, as the later levels are pretty unforgiving and give you very little clue on what you're supposed to do. Particularly with this one bridge level or the last level, actually, the second last level, where you're left to essentially translate Latin, I believe. But yeah, just like if you have no experience with that, then that will be a bit of a challenge. And that's obviously to say that that speaks wonders beyond the about this game. So yeah, that's it for this review, I guess. So overall, I would have to give this unfortunately 10. 3 out of 10, just simply because this is full of cliches. It's doesn't really draw you in. The saving points would be probably the fact that the audio does sync up quite a bit of the time, and it's not completely broken of a game as I've seen in the past. But so far, this has to be hands down one of the weaker horror stories I've ever played, and one of the weaker game I've ever played. Period. Ever since I was able to tell what was a good game versus just 4-year-old me just happy to be able to play something. Anyways, see ya.